Well, on Monday we saw an epic finish to an amazing series between England and India. So here's our series review, where we'll chat about the incredible end to the fifth test, our thoughts on the series as a whole, and its stand-up moments, and when it leaves England ahead of the Ashes this winter. So subscribe if you're new around here. Let us know your thoughts on the series below in the comments. It'd be great to read those. So, Kat, thanks for joining again, mate. Where do we start with an absolute epic series?
Well,
As we said, I mean, we said it in our preview, be a good series, a tight series. But I don't think us two or anyone around the country would have expected such an amazing contest between the two teams.
no, exactly. Yeah, it's an incredible game of cricket. There's a great advert for Test cricket as a whole, and yeah, I don't think anyone could have written that script, especially with a one-armed man coming down the stairs to kind of try and help England get over the line at the end and all that. And it's kind of it show it just kind of shows what it means to people and what it means to the players and all and everything like that. And it was a great game of cricket. Um, India probably just about deserved the win on balance. That uh, the way they bowled and they come back, but it was a real seesaw kind of game. So I think that India probably just about edged it, but at the same time, England probably feel it's a missed opportunity as well. So I had the game there for the taking, 300 for free, chasing 370. Arguably should have gone on to win at that point, but England, um, so kind of gave it away a little bit. So it's like there's some questionable shot selections in there, but also India bowled incredibly well to kind of take
Yeah, they
those
did.
last 7 wickets for 60.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, I mean, yeah. So you look,
Well,
uh,
just while you're looking at the
yeah,
stats, Cal, there's a lot to get through. But in terms of
yeah,
didn't the end of that fifth test sort of encapsulate the series as a whole? Really, obviously there was some. I mean, despite the flat pitches, there was some good bowling, particularly from Siraj, who's rightfully India's man of series, player of the series, and also the amount of collapses from both teams throughout the whole series. We'll touch on the series overall shortly, but yeah, the amount of batting collapses, and obviously, England, as you rightly say, from the position they were in, should have won pretty easily. I know it's chasing a huge total, but from that point, from as you say, 300, 310 for free. It should be one winner, but I think it's been a seesaw battle. Gone one way and t'other, as they keep saying on Sky, and obviously the end of the fifth test just was another one to the collection for the series.
yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, there's like the position kind of England got themselves in. I mean, the partnership between Root and Brooke was, as had England right in pole position, and he thought they was going to absolutely just walk it in from there. And I mean, as you say, the game kind of was a perfect encapsulation of the series as a whole. It's kind of one side gets ahead, the other side punches back and forth and back and forth, and it's just and it shows what Test cricket's about. It shows that the ability for momentum to change within a game, and to kind of allow for those periods of dominance within a side and allow for teams to fight back and things like that. And that's what makes Test cricket such a great game.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
and then to kind of, as you say, Mohamed Siraj is probably one of the most underrated bowlers in world cricket. It's like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
he's not. I mean, he's not someone who's considered to be express pace you know, or or does loads with the ball, or
He touched 90 in a couple of when he gets his legs
yeah,
going, his legs pumping, and especially when it's a weird one
yeah,
with obviously we touch on Jasprit Bumrah, who's obviously amazing, but obviously they won their two tests in there without the number one bowler in the world in their side. Work that one out.
exactly, yeah. As I say, he's like Siraj. You wouldn't like put him as like the best in the world for any one facet of bowling, but he bowls with such heart and such skill, and he just imposes himself on the game and the batsmen and the batters he's bowling against. And you say it's like at times he touched 90, as you rightly said.
Yeah,
But people, you talk thinking about quick bowlers and like generally fast bowlers. It's like he's not someone you put in that category. He's a generally seen as like a really kind of solid kind of seam bowler who kind of who you wouldn't necessarily kind of think necessarily would be that kind of match winner, but he's someone who when the situations get tough and you're in a bit of a hole, he's like you chuck him the ball and go do something for me, and he does it. He's like he's he's such a passionate and such a kind of like lion-hearted cricketer that he just brings so much to his team and to any game that he plays in. It's like you can't help but respect him.
yeah, no, totally, yeah, completely agree with everything you said there. And that's the thing. If Siraj was playing for England this series, God, I think who knows what I think England would have won the series convincingly. I think with some of our bowling was a bit erratic at times, particularly in this fifth test. What do you make of obviously, I know it's a game of fine margins, and England probably should have won. And then this talk of like the selections they made will probably be a little bit forgotten. But the fact is, England lost, and we do have to talk about the selections for the fifth test. Obviously, sadly, Ben Stokes was injured, so Ollie Pope had to take over, so that was one enforced change. But then, playing Josh Tongue, who did improve as the tests go on, and he's certainly got ability, Josh Tongue, highest wicket taker for England, despite not this series, despite not playing every test, and but the sections of Bethel and Overton, I think, still puzzle me. Even though at the start of the season, I wanted Bethel at number three, but he was playing cricket at the time. He hasn't played. He's barely played this summer, and Overton again, a talented player, but he's barely played any first class cricket for the last 2 years or whatever. In the 100, he's been playing as a batter only at number seven. So yeah, a couple of strange selections there. I thought. What did you think of them?
Yeah, so um, I, there are some question marks about England's selection in this game. So I think we both rightly predicted that Bethel would get a game at some point in this series, but I don't think we necessarily predicted it in this way.
No,
Um,
and I don't think we predicted the lack of matches that he'd played beforehand.
exactly, and I think he's almost kind of chucked in there as like as like the I'm not against him batting number six, but he's kind of chucked in there as kind of like the second spinner as like at the expense of Liam Dawson. And I found in that respect, I found it a bit of an odd selection.
Yeah,
And it's, I mean,
I think that sort of fantasy idea of like we don't need to play a front line spinner. I think that's just been dispelled in this test. I think
I think
I think it's a farce.
yeah, I think Liam Dawson would have been perfect for this game. He's like
Yeah,
because he's more than good enough with the bat. He could have like I mean, you could have slotted Jamie Smith up one spot to six. Dawson could have batted seven. Wokes would have stayed eight, and
yeah. There's still a
and then
strong,
it's
there's
like,
still a strong tail, isn't it? Eh?
and it's like, and you could chuck Dawson the ball and say, go bowl, go go bowl me a long spell, go for two or three and over, and you can rotate your seamers at the other end, and so which they're crying out for in this game by the end. I
Yeah.
mean, no one could have predicted Wokes' injury,
No, but
but
even if he was available and fit for the whole game, that still would have been a good option. And it wasn't an option because obviously Dawson wasn't selected.
exactly, and then and then as soon as Wokes goes down, it's like you've got three seamers there. It's like so, yeah, Josh Tongue and Jamie Owen are probably not ones that really can bowl long spells,
No.
particularly.
I think
Jamie Owen,
they're putting a good effort, the three of them.
yeah, oh, you can't question their effort.
I'll give them that. But I think just before you make your next point, Kat, because I've got to say it earlier in terms of um like the bowlers that are not in the squad, like Sam Cook was in the first few squads. But he wasn't in this one, so he wasn't obviously available to play. They didn't pick him in the squad, and Matthew Potts for whatever reason, it hasn't been selected in any squad. I'm not sure if he was even in the Zimbabwe one either, and I think he's been outcasted for. I don't. I don't think Matt Potts will ever be a first choice England bowler, but to just completely discount him from the squad, even though he's done pretty well for England in the appearances he's made, and if he played in this test, it would have been right up his street. Especially when Wokes went down, he bowls a lot of overs at a decent clip, runs hard, absolute workhorse. He would have tended to shed load of wickets, but it wasn't an option because he hasn't been, named in any of the squads, which I find a little bit bizarre.
I know. I mean, he could have come in and done exactly the same job which Jamie Overton did. I mean, I think that they picked Overton just because of the fact that he's probably quicker than Potts, and he's got that ability with the bat down the lower down in the lower order as well. But Overton just looks short of rhythm, and it's just an odd selection where someone like Potts could have come in and done that, played that same sort of role. He's like, he's played a lot more cricket than Overton, I believe. He would have, he's got that ability with the bat as well. And for whatever reason, it's like the England selectors just seem to have gone off him. He seems like he hasn't really done anything wrong whenever
Yeah,
he's
agreed.
played.
Yeah, yeah, that's an odd one. An odd one.
Um,
I don't quite understand it.
yeah, and it's Sam Cook is. It almost feels like they just gave him the game against Zimbabwe just to kind of say, right, we've picked him now, and just up. He didn't tear up any trees in that game, but you can't really just cast someone aside after one game and just say, oh, he's not good enough.
Well, they've done it with Dawson, haven't they, as well? So, be interested to see what
I
happens
know.
be interested what happens with Dawson in the for the Ashes trip. We'll talk about the Ashes at the end of this video. So let's move on to obviously the series as a whole. We've described it in different ways already. It was a roller coaster, and swinging one way then the other, but it was a fantastic, obviously, series, and in a way, I was sort of, obviously wanting England to win, of course, but in a way, it was fitting the end of the draw because I think 3-1 to England would have absolutely flattered us if we happened to have, chased down that total. So, but what are your thoughts, Kat? So many standout moments, but yeah, just in terms of the series as a whole, what did you think of it?
Yeah, it was great entertainment in the series as a whole. I don't want to bag, but I did predict a draw at the start. So
Yeah, you
so
did.
I
Yeah,
wish
you're
I'd put
right.
money on it. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was a proper back and forth kind of slugfest kind of series where there's like one, someone got in the first blow and then someone responded, and it was like punch, counter punch, and it's like it was a real proper kind of slugfest kind of series where teams kind of went at each other hard. It wasn't like a kind of couple one team blew with the other one away, and it was like and within the games as well, it was like there was the proper back and forth. It was a real battle, and and also just it was a brutal series as well, just in terms of the number of injuries. You saw guys coming
Yeah,
out and
yeah.
playing through injuries and stuff. There's like Bashir with a broken digit, Rishabh Pant kind of batting out or coming out the bat on 1 foot basically, after he broke his foot, and
Yeah, Wokes.
Stokes.
Yeah, Wokes. Yeah, Stokes as well. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, yeah, Stokes kind of bowling with a bad shoulder and having to drop out the last test and all that. And it's kind of where there
Yeah.
was like real because the thing was like he could have played, but if it had gone during that game, it's like it could, it potentially, Ashes ending for him and potentially a career ending because there was concerns like, well, he probably would be fine, but if it went, then that he could be out for a year or something like that. It's they
Yeah, yeah.
concerned that the worst case scenario was too bad to kind of risk for that game. Um, and also just Chris Wokes. I mean, what a hero! I mean, it it may be the last test he ever plays. I mean, because let's be honest, he was pretty ordinary during the series. But if you're willing to come out and bat when you've only got one working arm to get your team over the line, and it's like the fact he was planning to kind of bat left-handed effectively as well because it was his left arm, that went. So as a right hander, obviously that's
Yeah.
your front arm. So the fact he's had to come out and kind of try and bat as a left hander, it's like for a moment I thought the script would have been set for him to kind of hit the winning
I
run
think
with one hand.
everyone was thinking that. Yeah, he just gets a full toss and bangs it away for one. That's it.
Yeah, I think everyone was secretly kind of hoping he would get on strike to kind of see what it would have
Yeah,
happened.
yeah,
Well, I was like obviously thinking, hoping that Gus Atkinson like smacks the winning runs, but I think everyone is going to see what would happen.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, but yeah, just summed up the yeah. You're right about the nature of the series and some real high quality. Sitting in the batting wise, I mean, with the pitches, I think we were saying before the series, if the sun's out and the pitches are flat, make hay when the sun shines. Well, you another prediction you got right, Cat, about Shubman Gill. I mean, what a series he had as a batter leading from the front. About 4 centuries did he hit? Absolutely amazing. And yeah, and I feel even more impressive was I think his captaincy got better as the series went on as well. 754 runs, an average of 75.4, just yeah, stunning. And as I say, I felt even in that last session, getting the last couple of wickets, I think yeah, he was calm under pressure and moved his field, accordingly, and it worked. So yeah, an impressive series for the new skipper.
yeah, so if I put some money on all this, I could have made a few quid. And so it's
Could have made
like,
20 quid, mate.
I know
More beers down the club, eh?
exactly. Cool, dear, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, they spoke about the new captain bounce in the series preview, but I don't think anyone kind of predicted it would be like these quite almost Bradman-esque efforts that he produced during this series. I mean, he just at times he just looked at he looked like he was never going to get out, and he just looked
Yeah, it was better. It
imperious.
was batting by that barn door of his rather than a cricket
Yeah,
bat.
yeah. I mean, he arguably kind of tailed off a little bit towards the end as well. I mean, he I was thinking about he could have broken like Bradman's record for a 5 Test series, and he weren't far off in the end.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean, he was superb. I think he's still inexperienced as a captain, so he's still going to develop in that aspect. But as you say, he got better with that as the series went on. I mean,
yeah,
as you say, he held his nerve brilliantly in that last Test as well. Is in that situation where it's tight, you need 1 or 2 wickets. You know, it's easy to kind of lose your head and kind of where you'd see players coming in all direction, getting in your ear and stuff like that, and he's kind of not knowing what to do, but he's having that kind of presence of mind to say, "It's like, all right, this is the plan, this is what we're going to do," and kind of set the field accordingly and just take that time to kind of know what your thinking is. And he did that brilliantly. So you say his captaincy definitely got better over the series. And so, yeah, I think his stock will have risen massively back in India, and he kind of would have really imposed himself as a captain now
yeah,
as a result.
yeah. No, absolutely. So yeah, with it being a 5 Test series, and obviously it was fantastic quality from both teams throughout. It's going to be unfair of us to pick just one standout moment from the series. So we're at this stage now where I think we just need to pick a few each, go one at a time, and pick our standout moments. Don't have to be in test order. You can pick it in any order. So I'll go first. One of the ones that stood out to me was I just think obviously the Lord's Test, and also the when the teams really started sniping at each other. I think that sort of was a catalyst for the rest of the series in terms of the teams proper going at each other. Obviously there was the infamous or famous, depends on what side, which team you support. But Zach Crawley at the end with Ben Duckett just facing that one over in the end, and Shimon Gill and Crawley pointing at each other, and the following sort of days when Washington Sundar, probably a bit naive on his point, was predicting that India would win quite easily. And then when he's going out to bat, and Brendan McCullum's giving that to pointing from the balcony, and obviously him getting a send off and Jofra Archer bowling that amazing spell, getting a send off to Pant as well. And I just think that particular period was, Test cricket at its best. Um, and obviously one of the highlights of the series. And I actually think alongside that, and a moment that goes under the radar is Bryden Carse's spell then as well from the would have been the fourth day. He got a couple wickets and it could easily have got a few more. So that goes under the radar a little bit. But that's what that particular period stands out for me. For certainly in the Lord's Test. What moment stands out for you?
They would say, yeah, Zach Crawley took time wasting to a new level
And and
during
sh-
that
and
day,
and
didn't
shit
he?
and shit out and shit out. Sorry as well.
Yeah. Oh yes. Um, I think it's kind of related that kind of like to what you just said now, but there. But I think Jofra Archer's return to the Test side and kind of just seeing him
Yeah,
back in the whites and kind of seeing him perform well and also just kind of what it means to him to kind of play Test cricket again. And it's just so heartening to kind of see him back in the whites and kind of and you just remind yourself of just how good a cricketer he is. It's just like and just what a difference he makes to the side. I mean, he only played a couple of tests, but he was, you just see what a difference he made to that attack was when you put the new ball in his hand and you get somebody charging in 90 plus mile an hour, moving the ball and just kind of it just makes things difficult for good players and it's so good to kind of see him come back into the side and in fact what it meant to him kind of and it just shows that Test cricket still means something to the players these days and it's they still that's how they judge themselves and it's so heartening to see that as a cricket fan um he's just a really incredible cricketer to watch sometimes. And it's just yeah.
yeah,
So
totally.
for me, I think that's my first one. Just seeing him back in the whites. Yeah.
Yeah, really. So yeah, another moment for me. Well, it wasn't really a moment. He had plenty of moments. It was Ben Stokes this series. Absolutely amazing. Back to his best with the ball, and he's got his first Test century in 2 years as well. So in the fourth Test at Old Trafford. So yeah, he's bowling. He's always been a good bowler, Ben Stokes, but obviously with his injuries last couple of years, hasn't really been able to play as a proper out and out all rounder. But you got 17 wickets from the four tests he played, and he could easily, if he played this fifth test, could have easily been the top wicket taker for both teams. And then he got that much needed century, as I say, at Old Trafford in the fourth test. So yeah, he's bowling. I think he was England's best seamer. I don't, in terms of the whole series. I know Josh Tongue got more wickets, but in terms of his threat, Ben Stokes, he was by far England's most threatening bowler. I mean, seam or swing, so or spin as well. So yeah, and as I say, he got some starts at the beginning of the series with a few thirties and forties, but yeah, managed to at Old Trafford get that ton. First time since the 2023 Ashes at Lords. So yeah, I think that was just amazing to see Stokes bowl at his not only his accuracy and his swing, but also his pace. His pace was back as well, which is if as long as this shoulder injury doesn't hurt him too much over the next few weeks, that's really promising for the Ashes.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to wrap him up in cotton wool for the next few weeks or so until November. And he he shouldn't pick up another bat or bowl another ball until kind of like the nets in late October before they go out there. Just give him a rest, give him a chance to heal. Because
Yeah.
look at this series, you'd have to see the difference he makes to the side of when he's fully functioning as an all rounder. If the past couple of years you kind of forget how good a bowler he is just because of the fact he hasn't bowled much, but he he is like a test quality, high class operator with the ball, and he showed that again. So yeah, absolutely agree with that. So in terms of kind of the other things that kind of really stood out for me during the series, it's like I think Joe Root kind of going into second place in the all-time run scorers list
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
we can't not mention Joe in this highlights of the of the series. Eh?
I think it was particularly delicious that Ricky Ponting was in commentary, but at the moment he went past him, wasn't he?
I think
And the
I think the
list,
Sky producers should get a bit of kudos for that. They must have predicted, they must have worked that out, the timings and all that.
exactly. It's a very fantastic bit of shithousery from the Sky production team to make sure he was on comms. So,
Oh, totally, yeah, yeah, and the fact that I think on one at the Sky Car they were next to each other, weren't they? After a day's play and all that, when he did it, I think
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I think in the space of about 5 minutes, he went past Callis and was it Callis and Ponting in the list, the all-time list. So yeah,
Yeah,
amongst
Dravid as well, was it?
well, I think was it yeah,
I
might
can't
have
remember.
been Dravid.
Can't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
something like yeah,
few within like a few runs from each other. Eh?
yeah. No, it's like he's as long hopefully he stays fit and it's like and if you know and I I really can't see him kind of retiring now considering he's in striking distance of that of Tendulkar's record. Um, so it's yeah, so it was great to see him move up into that second place, and also the fact that he did it in like an old-fashioned kind of way. He weren't full of the scoops and the flips and all that kind of stuff. It was
Yeah,
for
yeah,
long periods. It was proper old-fashioned test batting, and he's kind of putting down a markers. I think that a lot of there's a few other members of that batting lineup who could learn a thing or two from the way he played, the way he has the
yeah,
ability to go up
100%.
and down gears. Um, and so, in fact, he's just ruthless. So he very rarely gives his wicket away. So he's yeah. So I think for me, seeing Rooty in the up in the second it was a huge moment for me. So and the fact he's kind of little nod to Graham Ford as well. It's like
Yeah, it
a
was
really nice,
lovely touch that was. Yeah.
it's lovely touch. Just yeah, so it's yeah. So for me, that was yeah, that was a really good, nice moment to see that as well.
Yeah, and another moment for me was England's run chase in the first Test, Cat. I mean, they got so close to doing it again in the final Test, but yeah, they chased down the target was 371, and they chased it down with 5 wickets remaining, and they chased it down after only 82 overs, a strike rate of just over 4.5. So, obviously helped by a fantastic opening partnership between Crawley and Duckett, 188, and then yeah, Duckett ended up getting an amazing 149. So yeah, that I mean, I know England have since Baz McCullum took over and obviously Ben Stokes captain have made a really good habit of chasing down these big totals, but they can't be sniffed at, as proven by the fifth test. Like if you're chasing over 350, and I don't care what side you are, it's still a really good achievement. And the fact we did it in the first test against India again isn't to be sniffed at.
No, I think and it's almost the way they did it as well. It's like
Yeah.
that kind of big partnership. It's like Duckett and Crawley. It's like where they had the kind of smarts about them to say was like, okay, we're gonna see off Bumrah and kind of like just it's like the game intelligence. So it was right. He's their best bowler. We're gonna see him off. We're not gonna take any risk against him. And it's like that's what Test cricket's about. It's like the ability to kind of adapt to the situation, go up and down the gears and stuff, and you know, to know who's the threat and where you can score and things like that. And it's like, and that was like that was really encouraging to kind of show a mature approach. And it's like, yeah, so I completely agree with you on that. That's kind of a really good sign.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Okay, so you've got one more. I've done my 3 moments, so you've got one more to come. So
Uh,
what's your final moment of the series?
so So yeah, the final note for me, it's a little bit of a negative. This one is so it's like the end of the Old Trafford test. You know, it's the old carry on
Oh
kind of
God,
scenes
yeah.
where things
Right.
where where it's like
Oh,
where
so you
the Indian.
so you didn't like the there's been obviously there was a debate especially after the test, like some were saying they were well within the rights, Washington and Jadeja, to get their tons, whereas obviously others were on Stokes and England side were like the game's over, let's move on kind of thing.
No, I think India were completely right in the situation. It's like
Yeah, no, I
I
agree.
think
I agree. I'm with you, by the way. Yeah, I totally
yeah,
agree.
I think it showed a level of petulance kind of by the England players at the time. You can kind of understand it. They'd just been out in the dirt for what 140 overs or whatever, however long it was, and they were tired and wanted to get off the field. But it also showed this. There's a level of kind of disrespect there as well. It's like I think I read a very good article about this. Is that there seems to be a level of arrogance and moral superiority from this England team at times who don't seem to respond well when things are not going their way. And there's going to be periods like that in the Ashes coming up, and we know we're going to talk about that later. So there's like this almost like internal moral code that they kind of they appoint themselves as the the arbiters of all good things that are moral and proper within Test cricket. So it seems like a big sweeping statement to make, but it's like the way they sometimes they in that situation it's like saying like, well, we've had enough now. We want to walk off, and it's like Washington Sundar and Jadeja going, hang on a second, I'm on 85 and he's on 90. It's like, we want our hundreds here. And it's like, and then Stokes saying, it's like, well, it's only another 10, 15 runs. What does it matter? And it's like, well, there was a big carry on. It's like, you're getting nervous because Joe Root was on 99 overnight and that. And it's like, the amount of times you've declared on after immediately after people have got hundreds in that. So obviously personal milestones matter. So there's a really kind of like an inconsistency there. And it's a little sort of thing. It's like this the culture of this England team at times is just like it's like where they act as kind of like morally superior at times to the people to their opposition, the teams around them, and which it doesn't sit well with me sometimes. I mean, I love the way they play the game on the field. It's like the way they're kind of aggressive and kind of always move the game on and things like that. There's things like this where they just show a little bit of petulance. I think like Harry Brooks done it once or twice. It's like when, so I can't remember who it was, but someone was bowling like wide of off stump to him, and he kind of like moved like a miles outside off stump to kind of take his stance and things like that. And
Yeah, and Sri Lanka
um,
did that last year as well.
I think that's what I'm thinking of, and where people don't play the game the way that England think it should be played, and things like that, or they say that they're the self-appointed saviours of Test cricket. Don't get me wrong; they've done a good amount in that regard, but it feels like they don't really respect the game and their opposition sometimes, and that kind of carry on at the end of the Old Trafford Test kind of highlighted it perfectly for me. So sorry, a little bit of a rant there, and I've kind of gone off on a bit of a tangent at times.
No,
But
no, no.
yeah,
No,
it's
that's definitely getting clipped up. So oh no, that's no. I think it's a really interesting point, mate. Yeah, I think yeah, Washington Sundar and Ravinder Jadeja were well within their right to because they've still got 10 overs left. Well, they could easily have batted the whole. I mean, there'd be what a debate it'd be if they actually batted the whole amount of time. They batted for another 3 overs, was it 4 overs?
yeah,
And then they walked off. So all the histrionics is a little bit ridiculous, I think. I think, yeah, it was a storm in a teacup, a non-issue. I mean, obviously it turned out to be one, but I thought it was a little bit ridiculous, the scandal and the talk of all, disrespect or whatever. It was like, no, I'm not having it at all. And the fact
no,
that, yeah, okay, it was an element of farce with Harry Brook bowling a ball that was like 37 mile an hour or whatever it was. But at the end of the day, they ground it out and they batted for well over 3 hours, I think, or
yeah, they earned the right for
probably
that.
even longer.
Yeah,
three, four
Yeah,
hours or whatever. And obviously, don't forget that India were 0 for 2 in that innings as well. So they had to bat out their skin. The rest, obviously, Rahul,
exactly.
Gill, Sundar, and Jadeja. Um, so yeah, no, okay, last 10, 15 runs might have been a few pies from Harry Brook or whatever, but I mean, they deserve it for the application and the grit and determination to get that, and obviously the run scoring ability to get the bulk of the runs before the scenes at the end. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I find that a really strange sequence of events. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it's memorable stand out for the kind of almost the wrong reasons, really.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it was memorable.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it definitely was a standout from the series.
yeah,
I'll give you that. So, all right, well,
yeah,
we've mentioned it briefly, and it's been the talk of since McCullum and Stokes took over is the Ashes not only at home but away, and next time England play a Test match, it is in Australia away, obviously down under, starting in November. But where's this series in particular leave England, Cat? Because I still believe the questions that we had before this series about the top order, our lack of penetration sometimes on flat pitches, our who's going to be our spinner, what happens if Ben Stokes can't play, or can't bowl. I mean, I think those issues are still pretty relevant if I'm being honest.
yeah. I agree. I think the India series has shown that we'll be competitive down there, down in Australia. But as you say, it doesn't really seem to have answered many questions about the side.
Yeah,
Um, I think it's going to be crucial that like, the likes of Mark Wood and Jofra Archer are fit down there because they'll make a
yeah,
huge difference to that attack.
and Atkinson has proved in this test.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think he'll do very well down there in Australia.
Yeah, agreed.
He's quick enough, tall, gets bounce, and he's also useful with a bat as well.
Yeah,
Um, and I think he could be very useful with a new ball down there in Australia. Um, and and yeah, I think as you kind of hinted at as well, it's going to be important as like who is going to be our spinner
yeah,
down there. Um, uh, you know, I think is looking at the recent kind of West Indies series, the Australia West Indies series, and so that top order the Australian top order is as vulnerable as I've ever seen it.
yeah.
You know, Sam
Well,
Conscious look.
it's two vulnerable top orders. I've got to say, Cat, for both
Uh,
both teams.
if anything, I'd say that the Australian top order looks more vulnerable because, like Sam Conscious,
Oh yeah,
when the
yeah.
ball moved around, looked like a walking wicket.
Yeah, didn't
You
he
know,
average like 8 or something?
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
like he looked awful. And Khawaja, he got a couple of starts, and I think he got a 50. But he's been quite vulnerable the past year or two,
yeah. And
and it's like this is probably his swan song.
Cameron Green's an all rounder. He's batting number 3.
Yeah, he hasn't got many runs at three. He got a bit better as the series went on, but he looked a bit shaky. So that top threes,
Mm.
if
It's no Langer.
they're
It's no Langer Hayden Ponting, is it?
no, exactly. He's it's if Marnus doesn't find form in the Sheffield Shield, kind of
Yeah, yeah,
the start of the Aussie summer, and doesn't get back in that side, and then so that batting lineup is effectively built around Steve Smith and Travis Head,
yeah. Pretty much, mate. Yeah, and
and
Carey,
it's
and yeah,
Carey as well. Yeah, so it's like if England get the right bowling attack out there, it's more than possible. It's like Steve Smith and Travis Head would be coming to the pit wicket like 20-30 for free. And
mm,
it's like that's a whole different kettle of fish for them then. If instead of them coming out for like 200 for free or whatever it is.
yeah,
So so that if we can get that bowling attack right, it's like we'll be really be competitive down there. Um and in kind of Carson who and so and a lot of that will depend on if Stokes is fit to bowl as well.
mm,
You've got him in there as like that third or fourth seamer. So it's a huge difference to that attack. And
yeah.
he'll get wickets down there. Um, and it just balanced that side a whole lot better. And so and then that kind of takes you to who's the spinner going to be. It's like they think Bashir would be the right kind of spinner down there because he's tall, he gets bouncing, he can bowl wicket taking deliveries. But historically, he's like spinners don't get a lot of wickets in Australian Test matches. So I think you probably need someone who's going to bowl those kind of like tough overs where you want someone to kind of keep it tight and
Yeah,
allows
that's where Dawson
rotate.
comes in, mate. I would take both Bashir and Dawson on the plane.
Yeah,
I'd
and I think
definitely take them on both of them.
oh yeah, Dawson. I think Dawson has to go because I think he would do that job perfectly down
Yeah,
there.
and he can
Also,
score runs,
someone
obviously, as well.
precisely. So the one test he played in the series, he only picked up one wicket, but he bowled six. I think that's 60 overs and went at two and
Yeah,
over.
bought a shitload of overs, didn't he? Yeah,
So
and a decent economy as well.
yeah, and says I think he went 2.25 and over throughout
Yeah,
that time. And he's like, if you take him down here and you guarantee he's going to know no more than 3 runs and over, that's huge for the rest of the attack. It's like you can keep your seamers fresh and rotate them at the other end. So you're
yeah,
not
yeah,
flogging them into the ground, especially how fragile some of these seamers are. So that's going to be huge. So yeah, so I think there's reasons to be optimistic that we'll be competitive down there, but there's also, as you said, questions to ask about the side as well. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
I
no,
think that
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I think we look at the big series against India and Australia. Obviously we drew Australia at home 2 years ago. We just drew with India. We lost to away at India start last year, was it? So yeah, it's we need to we drew a big series win, and obviously it'd be brilliant if we get this win, and I think we can do it. Definitely got the capability, but we can't have these. We can't have these these brain fades where with the bat, which we still do, even though I think the side have been asked to be more ruthless, and I I'm still seeing a little bit of the same old thrown away winning positions at times, but but equally playing some high quality cricket, so it's a bit of a frustration really. So, but I think you're right about obviously Ben Stokes as a bowler, but I think just as a this previous test has shown is just his leadership ability, obviously out in the
oh
field
yeah,
as well. Because I mean, I don't want to criticise Ollie Pope, but I mean, obviously, and it's hard if you're a vice captain taking over a team that's not your team. As Ben Stokes would say so himself, he took over one of the COVID games 5 years ago against West Indies. I think Joe Root was on paternity leave, and England lost that game when they dropped Broad. They dropped Broad, and he did that Big Brother style um, sort of rant to Sky and whatever. But Ben Stokes was the captain that day, and England lost. But look at the look at the difference since Stokes has had his own team and his own philosophy and whatever. So it's hard. It's harsh to judge Ollie Pope at the moment, but obviously he's nowhere near the captaincy material as Stokes, and also the fact that I think there's still question marks over Ollie Pope as a starter in this team. Was mentioned about the top order. It's another typical Ollie Pope series. Starts off brilliantly, he gets a ton, and I think he only gets one over 50 in the whole series. I think.
yeah. I mean, as you say, it's kind of encapsulates kind of Ollie Pope as a cricketer. It's like one standout innings, and then the rest of it's kind of fairly average. I think he averaged mid 30s overall in the series, something around there,
Yeah,
34, 35.
probably. Yeah, yeah.
You say he started off the series with 100, and then he just kind of dried up a little bit after that. And it's they say he didn't do enough to kind of dispel those questions. And there's like I think that there's still some kind of like technical issues that he needs to recognize to rectify,
Especially,
especially at the start when he's
yeah, and at the back end of a test match as well, his average in the fourth innings is absolutely atrocious.
yeah, it's a real issue. I think it's not, and the technical issue it has, which kind of seems to exacerbate itself at the start of the innings, he's kind of like his head kind of falls over to one side a little bit at the start, and he's kind of plays around that front pad, and so
Yeah,
he's kind of coming across the ball. And at the start of your innings, when you're trying to find rhythm, it's like you're playing high class bowlers kind of doing that, playing around that front pad. It's just like it's putting like a huge target
Yeah,
on its front pad, just saying
a surfboard, as David Warner said recently.
exactly, exactly. It's like modern day and age. Bowler's just going to just bowl at his pads. He's probably going to miss one. And so and it's like, and then there you go on your bike, son. And so it's like Shane Watson reincarnation.
Yeah, Shane Watson, Christ, he was wearing a surfboard.
Yeah, God, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And then that kind of brings on this like the whole Zach Crawley kind of like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
issue. It's like because the past couple of years, it's that him being in the side has kind of built up to this series, and it's like the sectors have kind of implicitly said it's like we want him down under for the
Yeah.
Ashes, which was because we think he can like score big runs on like hard bouncy pitches down under. And as I think I saw a stat the other day that he averages 66 or something against bowling over 88 mile an hour. And so it's like, so with all this build up and all of that that's kind of gone into this, it's like if he doesn't go over there and score big runs or have a good series,
His test career's over
then he's
if he
like,
doesn't.
then sorry, he's like he's done. He's like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
played 60 Test matches and averages 30 as a specialist batsman.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like he needs to. He's like a player who can only score runs when the conditions suit him. It's like he's learned the kind of like that batting kind of in an indoor school against the bowling machine where where everything just comes through nicely and he can just play on the up and just play shots and things like that. It's kind of hasn't as much learnt the art of building innings or kind of grinding runs out when it doesn't really suit his game. And that's what he hasn't learned in county cricket. So if and I think as I say, if he doesn't get the runs in this series, I think his Test career is in real danger. Whereas I think Ollie Pope if he doesn't get runs, I think he has the ability to kind of reinvent himself and come back because he has got that more solid first class record and he's got a better Test record and he's done it in different conditions.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think Crawley is kind of it's a bit shit or bust for him. It's like so you don't get runs, it's like off you go.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it'll be if it's anything, the Ashes, anything like this series we just had against India, we're in for a real treat as cricket fans.
Yeah, oh absolutely. He's certainly not going to be boring down there. I don't think you're going to see like a nil-nil kind of snooze fest down there, are you?
No,
So
no. Well, as long as we don't, as long as we don't have Crawley or Duckett getting bowled first ball by Mitchell Stark, I think as long as we don't have that, I think like Rory Burns got bowled in their last series down under, then I think that will set us up quite nicely.
yeah, yeah. It's like, you just almost can't envisage like Ben Duckett getting bowled round his legs first ball while our Burns now,
No, it's
can't
gonna,
you?
no, it's
That's
gonna. Now
like,
He's gonna replicate what he did in the 2023 Ashes and hit the first ball for four.
I mean, that would be amazing. To be fair, and so Crawley has got that in him just to go like bang and just
Yeah.
kind of smash.
Watch him get 600 runs in the series now.
I would love to see it. I genuinely would
Yeah,
love to see it.
yeah, same
So
here.
yeah,
Watch your space, I guess,
yeah, exactly.
and watch the ball. Okay, so all right, Kat. Well, thanks for joining, mate. And obviously a fantastic series, and hopefully we get the same in the Ashes late this year.
Last one. Cheers, Westy. Thanks all.
No, no worries. So, well, thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Let us know your thoughts on the series down below, and we'll see you soon. All the best. Take care.